My name's Asha Kayla. I'm an Energy and Carbon Reduction Manager for Alliance Boots. It means I manage everything to do with energy from a building portfolio perspective, but also I'm there to help reduce the carbon footprint of the company. I came into it from a different route to most people because my interest was very much around behaviour and engagement and actually trying to change organisations from a cultural perspective. So I'm not a technical person, I'm certainly not an engineer, but that's basically where I've sort of entered into the field from, and that's very much what my role is centred around as well at Boots. The EMA has something called the working groups that tackle different issues, so whether it be legislation or behaviour or technology, and that is a really great way to actually learn from other professionals in a very open environment. And I don't think you can get that just from online networking or speaking to people at conferences and things. It's actually trying to do something and have an output at the end of it. It's trying to raise the profile of energy as a whole in terms of why it's important. We talk a lot about trying to make energy a real boardroom topic, and for it to become as embedded as health and safety might be in an organisation. So when we talk about credibility, I mean profile in a business as well as, I guess, being taken seriously. I'd like to see simplification across energy as a whole. I think it's so complex, everything from procurement to legislation to being able to manage data and understand it in a way. Legislation in itself needs to be simplified. There's a hell of a lot of legislation out there which is very complex to understand, so you need people within the organisation to actually decipher that, understand what it means for you, and to make sure that you're actually complying with it. Yeah. So there's different legislation that comes in from either from the EU or from the UK, and now there's a raft of things that are almost duplicating each other as well. So you've got CRC, we'll soon have mandatory carbon reporting, so all of these things make it very difficult for businesses to actually understand what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to comply, but as I said, above all else, it is just very complex, so you need resources, you need people to be able to understand that. I'm part of the behavioural change working group within the EMA. I joined that because that's one of my interests really, is how do we get people to change their behaviour to become more energy efficient and more sustainable. So it was sort of a personal interest for me as well as what I do in my day job really. What the group's trying to do is come out with a number of papers. The first one is about how to engage the board in energy management, and what we're really trying to do is make it practical and easy to understand, so for anybody, no matter what part of the journey they're on, whether they're just starting out or whether they're part of a big organisation that's been doing it for years, that they could then take that and practically use that in a way to help them basically progress the agenda within their own companies. I really enjoy the fact that no day's the same really. There's always a lot of variety. I'm never doing the same thing repetitively. I'm always talking to different people. I'm always moving on to different projects or trying to look at what's the next big thing for us in terms of strategy, where should we be looking to innovate, etc. So I think it's a really exciting area to be in, especially at the moment. From a Boots perspective, we have very engaged employees. They're really willing to help, they understand, and as long as we give them the right tools and information to be able to make a difference, they very much do enjoy making a difference, and we get a lot of support from them in terms of energy reduction. So I think having a very engaged employee base to start with makes it a lot easier to make these other changes. I think if you had a disengaged workforce, then it makes that message so much harder.